we might be able to quickly take you out to Hawkesbury. That might be a good idea because I know Billy's pretty busy. They are moving in at Mornington though, John, but I know you want to have a quick chat with Billy Mitchell.
Righto, Nick. OK, Billy, time's at a premium with Mornington getting close, so I'm going to fire him at you fast. Flickering Fire, winner of the first. Nice filly.
Night or on his day, and he bumped her a couple of times in the straight, and he was a much bigger horse, but she fought on well, and I was happy with her.
And Kiora Star began very quickly. Ramadan going fast from the outside, followed by Just Sterling, and Del Sol is taking up a handy position. They were followed by Mellis a bit further back as Glass Cutter a length and a half further back in the field. They're over on the inside to Mar Centre, and they were followed next by Rainbow Division, well back to Ken Daring, Rancho's Kua, and Carla Leah. Down the side they travel. Here's a good go for the lead, and Kiora Star on the inside about a half length in advance now, going very fast. Here's Just Sterling. In the centre there is Call Me Spike. Just behind them Del Sol. 2 lengths further back Ramadan, a length and a half. Aussie Prince over on the inside of Jacoby. Glass Cutter, Tinakajua very wide on the track came Mellis, and they're followed by Ken Daring. Mar Centre's back behind them. Carla Leah, Rancho's Q as they race up towards the home turn. It's Call Me Spiker and Just Sterling, a length and a half to Kiora Star, followed by Ramadan running on. Very wide on the track as Del Sol. Jacoby's over on the inside looking for a runner. Very deep then Tinakajua, and the widest of the runners, the grey, as they straighten up as Glass Cutter. They're right across the track. Call Me Spiker, tackled by Del Sol down the outside, and Jacoby's got a beautiful run on the inside. Jacoby's hit the front with 100 metres to go, has got clear. Del Sol battling on well. Ramadan coming home well, but Jacoby in front, close to home. Jacoby wins it. Second home Del Sol, third Ramadan, followed by Call Me Spike and Glass Cutter, and then Carla Leah, followed by Mar Centini Kajua, Kiora Star, Rancho's Ken Daring, Aussie Prince behind the Mellis, followed by Rainbow Division. Just Sterling's run last. And Jacoby, aided by a beautiful run on the inside. He was one of the first to jump out, couldn't muster early speed. He's dropped back to centre field, but the rider was angling for that run along the inside, which he got here, as you see, just after they swung for home when they were right across the track, and Jacoby took full advantage of it. As race clear, Del Sol has battled on courageously to get within about a half a length of him on the line, and getting home for third is Ramadan. All numbers after the RM Ansett Stakes, 6, 2 and 14. And this much improved galloper Jacoby, who won well at Pakenham last time out. Gee, this is a big dividend. $9 and $3.20. That's a huge dividend for Jacoby. At $9 and in fact, just looking at the board here. Yes, $9 and $3.20. $9 and $3.20 Jacoby. Raced by Mrs. HM and CJ McPhee, trained by Brian Cox at Wodonga, ridden by Vlad Jurek. 5-year-old brown gelding by Sir Lawrence out of Marcel's Delight. Winning the big one of the day, the RM Ansett Stakes, defeating number 2 Del Sol, ridden by Peter Mertens, pays $3.70. And 14 was third Ramadan, ridden by R. Cartwright, at $5.20. And the big one of the day, Jacoby the winner, number 6, ahead of number 2 Del Sol, and 14 Ramadan, with race 6 to follow next. The Royal Mail, Mornington fillies and mares, class 6 handicap at $3.35.
Thank you very much, Johnny. Race number 5 at Mornington, the big one to Jacoby. Sorry, Johnny Tapp, I threw you a little bit of the quiet tip, I guess, around the place is noise. 25 for Fraud, Moretti, that's the late mail from Rod. Everyone wants to have a go here. Moretti, $10, Greenbacks at 18, Affections at $28, and Triple Maze at 77. Corey Brown will handle Affections 1, 2 and 5. Other selections from Hilton. So we've got tips for Pleasure Giver, South Bend, Noise, Fraud and Affections. It's an open race, isn't it? Comes up very soon on Sky. Right, we'll take a break on Sky Live Racing around Australia and be back pretty shortly with the major race of the day, the Hawkesbury Guineas.
Pleasure Giver number 1, 340 for 5 Noise, and 460 for 2 South Bend. Pleasure Giver has the 57.5, these days prepared by John Morrish, formerly with Paul Hennessy at Scone. Races in the TJ Hughes colours, very familiar they've become with horses like Brittany Miss and Star of Haley in recent times. Very easy to see, pink, white checks, pale green sleeves and cap. Drawn barrier 1, Pleasure Giver. Back from a Melbourne campaign, first up from a Spellwren, 4th in the Zenitave behind Blaze the Turf. Then 2nd in the Autumn Stakes, once again to Blaze the Turf. Encounter in those races, and it was a top field. They were both very good fields. And he's got the barrier to keep a forward position. He did race on the pace in one of those races. I think it was the Zenitave first up when he drew one. Now Lively Lad coming up. Lively Lad has raced 6 times for 1 win at Rose Hill. And the last one in will be Greenbacks. Noise won at Randwick on New Year's Eve. I beg your pardon. 31st of January it was. And he's ready to put it all together. 2-3-11 at Mornington. South Bend, last start winner in the Prime Television Stakes. A listed $100,000 event at Tamworth. So they're set. $150,000 prize money here. $100,000 to the winning connections. Pleasure Giver Red. Set, they're off. And Moretti was slow and Pleasure Giver began as well as anything as going hard for the early lead. Showing speed, Affections on the outside with Fraud. Affections leads Fraud, Pleasure Giver. Followed by Bay Tights and 2 lengths away. Greenbacks racing wide around Noise from South Bend. Lively Lad, Moretti and Triple Maze dropped out last. Well, Affections went to the lead and immediately dropped anchor and handed the lead up to Fraud. They came back on Pleasure Giver. The chain reaction, Deck South Bend. South Bend at the 1,000, down on his nose. He's quickly back up though. And Dye did an amazing job to stay in the saddle. They're 800 out. Fraud now the leader, joined on the outside by Greenbacks. Affections third over on the inside as they come up towards the 600 metre mark. The outside there would have been Bay Tights, followed by Pleasure Giver. Then came Lively Lad, followed by Noise, South Bend, Moretti, and last is Triple Maze. 450 metres to go in the Rooty Hill RSL Hawkesbury Guineas. $100,000 the carrot at the end of this, and it's Fraud the leader on the turn. Bay Tights the outside, laying down the law. No run for Pleasure Giver. Greenbacks bullocking into the clear, then Lively Lad. South Bend a mile back after being severely checked. Pleasure Giver got through. Affections got chopped out. Pleasure Giver first to go after Bay Tights, but Noise is swooping home down the outside. Noise and Pleasure Giver have drawn clear. Noise just in front, and Noise beat Pleasure Giver to win the Guineas. Bay Tights 2.5 away third, followed home by Triple Maze. No luck for South Bend. Got absolutely flattened in a chain reaction from Greenbacks, Fraud, Lively Lad, Moretti and Affections, who led, handed up, dropped anchor, has run last after being tightened for room over the final stages. Number 5, Noise, with a big finish down the outside, ridden by Larry Cassidy. Still about 7th, just going out of shot there. He's about to come back in. You can see him sprinting hard. Noise on the outside in the Cerise by Quest for Fame out of Whistling. Raced by Larry Cassidy. Ridden by Larry Cassidy, raced by the Woodland Stud, Syndicate, and John Hawkes. Another big race success. They're going so well. He's a mile in front in the Premiership, John Hawkes. Being rewarded for both owners and trainers, and all the staff being rewarded for an incredible input to the racing industry almost Australia-wide. Quite incredible, really. They win a lot of races, but the Woodland Stud, the whole setup, has to win an incredible amount of races to even break even. But with horses like Noise, it's made that a little bit simpler. 280 in New South Wales, 270 Super Tab and 295 in Queensland. Well, Pleasure Giver copped a check but did get through at the right time. He had every chance. Jimmy Cassidy, the rider. You'll see J.A. Cassidy here go to the inside of Fraud. And Affections, you'll notice at this point, trying to get a rails run, just gets a little bit tightened there as Pleasure Giver goes in front. No, didn't get tightened at all, couldn't keep up. And for third, we've got number 3, Bay Tights. What a good run by the Wyong horse. He was up against the big guns there. Jay Morrish and Jay Hawkes, Bay Tights, but he's held all the others off after racing outside the leader. Terrific run by Bay Tights. I know they've got a few wraps on him, but that is his best run to date. He won that quality, of course, at Wyong last time out, rising in class, but he's kept up. He's run a great race for third, Bay Tights. Well, South Bend, you can just forget that horse went around. He was lucky to stand up. We might be able to have a quick look at that chain reaction over there at the 1100 metre mark. South Bend down on his nose, and Shane Dye did a great job to to keep him on all fours. It was a marvellous ride to stay in the saddle. Now let's have a look. You'll see Affections there. Look at that die, almost head-butted to the neck of South Bend. Now in big races worth $150,000, you just can't lose ground like that. Then again, we did see Spend do it. So how good Spend, but that is a totally different story. We'll just have another quick look if we can. Go a bit slower. You'll see as soon as Brown gets to the front on Affections, see he's crossed over here from Pleasure Giver. Now Fraud moves up. Cooksley says, I want the front. So as he endeavours to restrain Affections, the horse just overreacts. See, throws the front legs out there, but throws the head back. Now Pleasure Giver got onto the heels of Affections, and in turn, South Bend got right onto the heels of Pleasure Giver. Noise on their outside, throwing the head out as well. Now look at South Bend. He goes down there, and that was nasty, very nasty indeed. But lucky to stay in the saddle. Just couldn't get balanced again and make up the ground. So the race changed complexion there. It was pretty nasty over there at the 1100, but that's the way it happens sometimes. 513 are the numbers here. Quinella 410, Exacta 860, Trifecta 167.60. The time was 1:21.83. Now that is, we'll get that confirmed, 1:21.83 is a new course record. That is a new course record for 1400 metres. A new course record. The previous record was held by Lily Antoinette, set on the 3rd of March in 1988. The last 600 in 34.4. So that record has stood for more than 10 years, Nick, but no longer. Noise as the new course record.
Terrific performance, wasn't it? Gee, those Hawks horses. Hilton, how can you go past a Hawks horse that's just, you know, knocking on the till like Noise was, and Larry Cassidy riding in such sensational form? What chance have the others got these days?
Well, as I said, Nick, a lot of money is put into breeding and buying horses for the Woodland Stud, and
they are
where
unbeatable.
credit's due and rewards where they well deserved, because
They're absolutely unbeatable at the moment.
well, without stable setups like the Hawks setup for Jack and Bob Ingham, there'd be a whole lot of people out of work, Nick.
Terrific.
But then again, it's easy for the punters. They just chime in at the right time.
That's right. Get on Cerise colours.
Get on the Cerise.
Race 6, 2 Bold Dan, the tip from Alan Thomas at Ipswich from 3 and 4.
Well, Wolves